The 0-1 pitch, he swung away. He wanted number 2 right there, but over swinging, and it's 0-2. Coca is a guy you just want to get on base. He has 10 steals in 10 tries. Nothing in 2 to him here from Kubiak with Conley scheduled to follow. The hesitation, here's the 0-2. It drops inside and low. Ball 1, 2 strikes, 3 all. Bottom half of the 4th inning here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. The motion, and Coca swings and just nips it foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That was a last-second adjustment for a very defensive swing not to strike out. That's the best way to describe what Coca just accomplished. For whatever reason, the online box is frozen after 3 innings. Coca taps another foul. Kubiak has pitched Robinson and Coca somewhat the same, with a lot of off-speed stuff down and away. Coca has just managed to fight off the last 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes continuing. The set, and Jason now goes down swinging at a high fastball. Kubiak, and I suppose Pete Jorgen playing a role in it, set Jason Coca up perfectly right there. 2 are out, and here is Conley. He struck out looking back in the 3rd inning. That was before everything got started. During one stretch, the only problematic stretch for Kubiak, 5 out of 6 Barnstormers reached base. To Conley, fouled at the plate, and it is 0-1. So not sure exactly what's happening with the online box. Oh, I think I know. My credentials timed out. Bouncing ball to 3rd. Castro fires across to Becker. After the home run, pretty easy for David Kubiak, but Lancaster ties it on Garcia's 6th of the year. A run on 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. We're done with 4 in a 3-3 ball game. Osvaldo Abreu steps in to face Spencer Johnston here in the 5th inning. 3-3 our score, 4 hits to 3. First pitch sweeps outside and low. Ball 1 on Abreu, fly to center. His first time up. To the plate, and a high pop-up on the right side. Floating back is Garcia. He'll concede it to Mercedes, making the catch just inside fair territory. One out, and Leobaldo Cabrera will step to the plate. He is 0 for 2. Cabrera tied for the league lead in home runs. A guy who does not seem to have an incredible amount of raw power, but certainly a knack for getting the ball out of the ballpark. Oh for 2 in this game. Johnston to the plate, and a strike is delivered. It is 0-1. Barnstormers with Laird, Dunston, and Mercedes to step in the bottom half of inning 5. Johnston comes back, missing outside and low, 1-1. So both starters, now that I have my credentials restored, we're at 55 pitches through 4 innings. Pretty good clip. 1-1 pitch, banged out to center field. Cabrera with a base hit. Bobbled for a second out there by Dunston, but it does no damage. 5 hits off Spencer Johnston. The go-ahead run is on at first base with 1 out, and Luke Becker stepping in at 0 for 2. Barnstormers coming off an impressive sweep of the Long Island Ducks on the road over the past 3 days. But they have found Spire City pitching a lot more difficult to manage. Outside for a ball, Conley thinking that Cabrera might be on the move, but he was not. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Becker. Starlin Castro waiting on deck. Becker gets underneath it, popping it up. The shortstop, Coca, is in position. A little battle with the elements at the last second, but he makes the catch. 2 outs. And the batter will be Castro, who has fly to right and grounded to short so far. Johnson had that one tough stretch back in the 2nd inning and ultimately did not pitch all that badly there. All 5 hits have been singles. Cabrera starts, doesn't go, swing and a miss by Castro. It is 0-1, former National League infielder. Spire City has the highest team ERA in the league, too. But it's a staff that, other than last Saturday night, has given the Barnstormers all it can handle. It's funny how that goes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Castro looks at ball 2 down low, and we get to a 2 ball and 1 strike count. The first 6 games of the season series, Spire City with a 5.58 ERA against the Barnstormers, but so much of that, more than half of it, coming in the 1 game. 2 outs, 2-1 pitch, and it's hit high to right center field. This one's troubled. Dunston goes back. He's going to have to take that off the boards. They are sending Cabrera around. The throw will come into second base, and it low bridges Castro, who gets in with a double underneath the tag, and that was awkward, but it's an RBI 2-base hit for Starlin Castro, and Spire City back into the lead at 4-3. The Barnstormers in this doubleheader have not looked good on relays. In from the outfield, they've mishandled a couple. They decided to throw into second on Castro as Cabrera comes all the way around to score. Now here is Jimmy Paredes, who has walked and singled. Johnston from the stretch delivers outside. It is ball 1. The Barnstormers will have 1 new pitcher tomorrow. That will fill out the roster. And there may be some other things shaking here. First base open to Paredes' 1-0 pitch. Fouled away. Brault, a left-handed batter, waiting on deck. Well, Paredes is protected. Lancaster had just fought back to tie the game, and now with 2 outs, Castro delivers the RBI double. His 22nd run batted in on his 8th double. 1-1 on Paredes. Breaking ball fouled away. Make it 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Barnstormers need to get a start at some point here that will go down in the books as a meaningful quality start, or even quality start plus, like that 7-8 inning, 1 run kind of start, just to settle things back down. And you'd like to see more than one of those. I think if you're going to win the second half, you've got to get some of those games. You can't bash your way to wins night in and night out. Paredes with a drive foul down the right side, thankfully, or it's at least 5-3. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on the former Astro and Oriole. At the moment, just a 1-run deficit. And remember, Zach Roskup was used earlier today in the 8-4 game. Paredes pops this one up. Mercedes and Garcia are there. Melvin makes the call and the grab. And we'll close out the top of the 5th, but Spire City's back on top, a run, 2 hits. No errors, 1 left. Bottom half of the 5th inning will be coming around with the score 4-3 Spire City.
Skip the ER and visit Orthopedic Urgent Care at Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster. Several convenient locations available in Lebanon, Lancaster, Manheim, and Willow Street. A new location in Ephrata coming summer 2023. Walk-ins welcome, or reserve a spot online at fixbones.com. That's fixbones.com.
Being over 55 does not mean a ticket, it means 10 with the Silver Stormers Club, presented by the Lancaster Barnstormers and Audiology Associates of Lancaster. Anyone 55 and over can enjoy baseball action at every Tuesday home game for only $55 on the season for regular seating, or $65 for a dugout box. That is nearly a 70% savings. Members also receive a special Silver Stormers t-shirt to wear proudly at the stadium. For more information or to sign up, go to LancasterBarnstormers.com under season tickets.
David Kubiak has inherited a new lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 4-3, Spire City now leading. 6 hits for the Ghost Hounds, the Barnstormers with 3. Lair, Dunston, and Mercedes coming to the plate here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Lancaster with plenty of an opportunity to catch up, and I don't know if Zach Roskup is going to come back for a second stint in the same day. Some pitchers will do that, but we saw Matt Latos do it once last year, and the Barnstormers lit him up the second time. Kubiak to Lair, and a first pitch strike across the inside corner, 0-1. We'll see what Mark Minikazi might have planned. There's also the possibility that Kubiak would go all the way. Just low, and Lair bats at a ball and a strike. And I think Minikazi may be looking at that as well. 3 hits, 3 runs in 4 innings off of him. His pitch count is still good. To Lair, 1-1, breaking ball twists across. Kubiak has him at 1-2. Kubiak got stronger after giving up the Wilson Garcia tying home run in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Here comes the 1-2. Just fouled at home plate. Lair stays alive with a count of a ball and 2 strikes. Lancaster now has action. Down in the bullpen, a right-hander is beginning to throw, and that is Mike Adams. Adams, certainly the guy you'd want to bring in the 6th inning if you're tied or back in the lead. Now, Ross being optimistic. 1-2 pitch, Lair swings, and base hit right field. He got it down in front of the charging Sierra Trace, 2 for 2. Sean Dunston Jr. will be stepping in. Dunston's walked twice, maybe looking to sacrifice the runner over here. Lair, 23 out of his last 71. He's been swinging the bat well. That's 324. A ball outside to Dunston. Castro definitely guarding against the bunt. Trace Lair stole a base earlier. It was his 5th of the season. Ball 1, no strikes to Sean Dunston Jr. as the Barnstormers trying to at least tie here in the bottom of the 5th. He squares around, pops up the bunt. It gets all the way to the screen on the fly. The count evens up at a ball and a strike. Lair's done his job here in the 5th inning, getting on with the tying run to start the inning. Dunston bats at a ball and a strike, and we'll see what Ross has planned here. And Castro is way up over at third. Dunston will swing away and foul it back to the screen, and it is 1-2. Infield set, double play depth, the pitch. Dunston pops it up the other way, and that will get into the crowd. He gets to stay around. 1 ball, 2 strikes, continuing count. Foul ball back to the screen. Dunston clearly stretching this plate appearance out. Lair leads off first, nobody out. The count to Dunston is 1-2. Here's the offering, taken low. Good at bat for Sean Dunston Jr., although he did fail to get the bunt down. Fighting now to get on base. Here's a 2-2 offering, and he swings and misses. That is a big strikeout for Kubiak. It is his 4th. Mercedes now will step in. Melvin has reached on a fielder's choice and he's walked. You still have to look at the difference in this game being the Stephen Brault catch back in the 1st inning. Meanwhile, a right-hander has started to throw in the bullpen for Spire City. Kubiak looking to get through this 5th inning. Ground ball, second base. That'll help. That's a double play in the making. Throw back to first is in time from Abreu to Becker. Mercedes hits into the double play on the first pitch, and there you have it. Leadoff base hit. Don't bunt the runner over. Ground into the double play. 1 hit and nobody left on. We'll go to the 6th. It is 4-3 in favor of Spire City. Spencer Johnston will stay out there as the Barnstormers could not come up with the tying and or go-ahead run in the bottom of the 5th inning. Stephen Brault, the left fielder, leads off. He is 1 for 2, popping up this pitch. It is 0-1. Barnstormers have the 2-run single from Cordero and the home run from Garcia. The club has not played a strong game. Ground ball toward the middle. Coca was cheating that way, and he throws out Brault for out number 1. No errors officially charged to the Barnstormers. But we've seen over the course of this day bobbled relay throws. There was the ground ball off Garcia's glove. They have not in so many ways been crisp here on this Friday after that great series at Long Island. But this stretch of the schedule may well have worn this club out a little bit, and I don't necessarily see the best foot forward here. First pitch strike in on Sierra, who has singled in a run and struck out. Johnston, overall, I think he's pitched a solid ball game. Doesn't really deserve to be behind 4-3. Outside and low, it's a ball and a strike. But the only walk he's allowed cost him. One ball, one strike to Moises Sierra. Lifted in the air toward the right field corner. Robinson will give chase. That one fades out of play. Ball 1 and 2 strikes, the count to Sierra. We may have a few raindrops here again. There's no solid storm cell around any longer. That's all dissipated, maybe well off to our north, and I mean well off at this point, out beyond the right field wall. Sierra hammers this deep to left center field. Getting back is Dunston. He'll turn and make the catch for out number 2. Scott Kelly, who has the most significant hit of this game for Spire City, steps in. 2-run single up the middle, back in the 2nd inning. 1 out of 2 for Kelly. Cordero, Sandoval, and Garcia stepping in the bottom of the 6th for the Barnstormers, and the question remains whether or not they will see Kubiak. There has been a right-hander warming up in the bullpen, and he's still down there, but I haven't seen him throw again. Called strike on Kelly, 0-1. Johnston has thrown 5 2/3 innings that you have to appreciate. Yeah, he's still throwing down there. Ground ball shortstop. It'll be handled by Coca. And a strike to first base. 1-2-3. Go the Ghost Hounds against Johnston here in the 6th. Nothing across. And we'll go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Still 4-3 in favor of Spire City.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Excuse me, are you saying localflavor.com?
Oh yeah, it's where I save big bucks on all kinds of things. Home improvement projects, dining out, family fun, electronics, jewelry, clothing. I even bought my wife a fancy spa package for half price.
Half price?
Yep, you know all the deals you find in Clipper Magazine.
I love Clipper Magazine.
Well, they're all on localflavor.com too. And you can get them right on your phone thanks to localflavor.com's mobile app. Here, take a look.
Well, this app is amazing. Look at all these restaurants, amusement parks, car washes, fitness centers. This is worth sharing about.
Exactly. Localflavor.com online, the Local Flavor mobile app, and Clipper Magazine together. It's like a triple play.
Do the cheer again. I'm in.
Localflavor.com, local flavor. Come on, everybody! Localflavor.com, local flavor. Localflavor.com, local flavor.
Lancaster trailing 4-3 going into the bottom of the 6th inning, and David Kubiak will be lifted by the Ghost Hounds after giving up 4 hits and 3 runs in 5 innings. with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts for the ball game, in line to win it. And Spire City has gone to right-handed 3/4 man John Witkowski. He is a 27-year-old from Melrose, Massachusetts, 6'5", and 210 pounds. Witkowski will be in just his 3rd game here. He has started 2, so perhaps working just in between starts, if in fact I am reading the number correctly. 10 innings, 13 hits, 7 runs, no record. And working to protect a 1-run Spire City. Now, I didn't read that number correctly. This is Jack Weinberger. Well, I had the initials right. I was suspect. All I had seen was the first digit, 2. So it's Weinberger, 1-4 with 4 holds, 4.44 ERA, 17 hits allowed in 24 1/3 innings. Cordero, Sandoval, and Garcia stepping in with Lancaster down by 1. Weinberger ready to go. First pitch, a called strike at the knees. Cordero batting at 0-1. Andretti robbed by Brault in the first inning, and he singled in 2 back in the 3rd. 1 out of 2 here in this nightcap of sorts. 0-1 from Weinberger. Cordero went to swing. He didn't. Getting out of the way at the end, and it's ball 1, strike 1 against the much harder throwing Jack Weinberger from New Hampshire, 27 years of age, 6'5", and 220. 1-1 pitch. Cordero drives a foul to the right, making it 1-2. The Barnstormers had the leadoff man on in the 5th inning and didn't make anything out of it. Cordero trying to jumpstart the offense here in the 6th. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the count against Weinberger. He was one of the guys with Mark Minikazi for the Genomes a year ago, Jack Weinberger. He works to Cordero, 2-2, swing and a miss. That's 1 out here in the 6th inning. Sandoval will come to the plate at 0-2. Barnstormers with the big wins the last 3 nights, but now you're looking at 5 outs, down by 1. They've been winning some of these games on the road. That's where the curiosity factor lies. 3 times now, the Barnstormers have come from behind in the 9th inning on the road, but we haven't seen them pull out a game at home. Sandoval, chopper to 3rd, taken smoothly by Castro, and a perfect throw becomes the 2nd out, bringing on Wilson Garcia, who's grounded out and homered here in game 2. Adams once again throwing for the Barnstormers, so anticipate seeing him in the 7th inning against Jorgen, Abreu, and Cabrera. Lancaster down by this 1 meager run. Garcia tied it up the last time he stepped in. Fouls off the first pitch here. It is 0-1. Apparently, in his high school class, he was graduated and named in the yearbook most likely to swing at the first pitch. He doesn't take too many walks. He doesn't strike out all that often. 0-1. Weinberger to the plate, and Garcia cracks it to dead center. Back on it is Cabrera for an easy catch. The Barnstormers go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll go to the 7th, still 4-3 Spire City. Pete Jorgen, the catcher, leads off against Mike Adams here in the top of the 7th and final inning. 4-3 Spire City. Adams drives a strike through the zone. It is 0-1. Jorgen is 0 for 2 here in this of sorts nightcap. Breaking ball, he reaches for it, pops it up, and that will head to the seats. Second strike on Jorgen against Adams, who's the first Barnstormer pitcher to be in 30 games this year. 2-2 his record with 3 saves and a 2.76 ERA. He got into a couple of games at Long Island, gave up a 3-run homer to Brian Goodwin the first night, and then got the save with a 1-2-3 inning the second. Fouled away. 0-2 the continuing count against the hard-throwing Adams. Lancaster will have Robinson, Coca, and Conley in the bottom of the 7th inning, and the lefties warming up in the bullpen. Jorgen just spoils that, and it stays at 0-2. So it does look like Mark Minicozzi is going to go to Zach Roskup, if I am, again, reading the number correctly, for the second game here today. 0-2, the count to Jorgen. Breaking ball in there, strike 3 called. Adams starts off with a punch out. He wasn't so sure about that, but walks away. You don't want to get on the bad side of the home plate umpire when your team is leading by 1. It shouldn't matter, but sometimes it comes into play. Adams, by the way, has been very good at retiring the first batter that he faces. He's done it 80% of the time. 24 out of the 30. Breaking ball for a strike on Abreu, and it's 0-1. Mike comes back, delivers a breaking ball, this time missing, and Abreu bats at a ball and a strike. Leopoldo Cabrera waits on deck. If Adams gets his job done, we'll see what the Barnstormers can muster in the bottom of the inning. Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Lancaster has not walked off here at home. You can't do it on the road, but they have come from behind in the late innings a substantial number of times lately. Swing and a miss, 2 outs. They did it twice in a row at Charleston. They did it Monday at Southern Maryland with 1 out left. They either tied the game or took the lead, but they won all 3 of those. With 2 outs, here's Leopoldo Cabrera. Singled and scored the go-ahead run back in the 5th inning on the 2-out double by Castro. Johnston, again, not a bad outing. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on Cabrera. Johnston gives up 6 hits and 4 runs, all of them earned, with 1 walk and 3 strikeouts. Adams to the plate, skipping the ball to the backstop, and it's 1-1. Two strikeouts so far for Adams. And there is a pop-up out of play. Cabrera bats at 1-2. Adams is the kind of guy who, when he's on, he's really on. He's had about a dozen spotless performances so far. Ball 2 is low here, 2-2. And his overall numbers are good. The 2-2 pitch. Cabrera takes ball 3. Becker, the switch hitter, waits on deck. Full count pitch due to Leopoldo Cabrera. If you're Mike Adams, you want to end this inning here. And the pitch, he doesn't. Ball 4 is inside and low. Second walk issued by the Barnstormers here in game 2. Luke Becker will come to the plate. This is not truly a doubleheader. It does not count as such. Spire City took the completion of the suspended game 8-4. They lead 4-3 in the 7th inning in game 2, and Becker looking to give his relief staff a bit more of a cushion. Cabrera at first. He's going to go. Ground ball right to Garcia. Wilson can step on the bag as Becker gives up after 2 steps down the line. 3 unassisted. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. Robinson, Coca, Conley. Can somebody get it done? We go to the bottom of the 7th. Spire City leading 4-3.
For the youth of our area, the Barnstormers are offering a wide variety of camps throughout the summer to teach everyone some tips on baseball and softball. Camps are offered to kids as young as 4 and as old as 12. Some even involve the parents. They run from June all the way through August. For more information, go to LancasterBarnstormers.com and click on the Youth Baseball tab. All presented by Orthopedic Associates of Lancaster and Play It Again Sports.
Tent.
Check.
Sleeping bag.
Check.
Bug spray.
Check. If you want to be well equipped for a summer camping trip, you need a comprehensive checklist. To be well equipped all year long, check out your local Lexus dealer. There you'll find special offers on select highly capable Lexus SUVs at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event. But make sure it's first on your list because these offers end September 5th. See Bobby Rahal Lexus in Mechanicsburg or Lancaster County.
4-3 as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, and I want to be 100% certain that the left-hander on the mound is wearing jersey number 31. It certainly appears to be. And it would be Zach Roskup for the 2nd time today. Earlier, it was not a save opportunity. And it is Roskup. He walked 1, struck out 2 in the bottom half of the 9th in the suspended game. Now facing Robinson, Coca, and Conley in the 7th inning. We talked about Matt Latos. Stan Clyburn tried to do this once last year, and the Barnstormers got to Latos in the 2nd game. That might have been 2 years ago now that I think of it, because we didn't win at Southern Maryland last year. Now here's Robinson, 0 for 2 from the left side in this game. Roskup to the plate. Fastball down and in. Ball 1, no strikes. Weinberger got rid of the Barnstormers in a hurry. 1-2-3 on 7 pitches. In the bottom half of the 6th, Lancaster needs 1 to tie here, 2 to walk off. Coca is on deck to Trayvon Robinson, 1-0. The bat started. The Spire City Ghost Hounds ask for help. They get it from Steve Zawiski, and that is a break for the Ghost Hounds. I'm not saying that Robinson didn't go, but that would have easily been a 2-ball, no-strike count. Now Bill Reuter coming in to check on Jerry Martinez, who got that last pitch off the foot. Robinson batting at 1-1. The Barnstormers started to win some of the closer contests, but they're still 5-12 in 1-run games. They have the worst record in the league in those contests. Lexington, of all teams, the best through the beginning of the week. They were 16-5 in 1-run games. 1 ball, 1 strike to Robinson. Roskup comes back. His fastball up and away. 2-1. But these are the kinds of games that the Barnstormers are going to win here in the second half, and they're capable of doing it, but they've got to start winning some of these. To Robinson, 2-1. Ball 3 is low and skipping away. Three balls, 1 strike to Trayvon. Lancaster has Andrew Lee warming up in the bullpen in case of a tie and extra innings. Robinson bats 3-1 against Roskup. And the pitch is ball 4. Tying run goes to first. And Roskup, again, it's so hard to pitch these days in both ends of what you could consider a doubleheader. Robinson is going to hand the reins over to Jake Hoover at first base. You had a little bit more youth there. Jason Coca will come to the plate. He has lined out and struck out here in the regularly scheduled game. Everybody anticipating a bunt right now. Rosk up to the plate. Coca squares and he pops it up. They converge on it, and the catch is made, I believe, by Rosk, who came out of there with that. The trio converged, but it's one out and one on. And again, as we saw back in the 5th inning, the fundamentals. Coca's a great bunter, and here trying to move the tying run into scoring position, he pops up the bunt. So it's one out. Jack Conley, the batter, at 0 for 2. Hoover leads off first. Rosk up to the plate, fouled to the screen for strike 1. Trace Lair, a left-handed batter, waits on deck. There are nights where the Barnstormers are flawless with the execution. Here's the 0-1. Conley takes a breaking ball inside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hoover carrying the tying run. You'd love to see it get the scoring position. Jack Conley up there at 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosk looks over at Hoover. He'll come to the plate and miss inside and low. Conley bats it 2-1. Don't know if you've got really favorable air for hitting the ball out any longer. Conley certainly capable of doing it. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a pop-up on the right side. Maybe playable. It is. Becker calling off his teammates and making the catch. And now it is up to Trace Lair in a left-on-left battle. Rosk almost has gotten it done. He needs to get one more out here. Kubiak is an out away from his 7th career win against the Barnstormers. Trace Lair 2 for 2, trying to keep it going for the Barnstormers. Dunston is the on-deck hitter. Roskup's pitch is outside and low for ball 1. (4-3) Spire City leading. And the pitch to Lair, a strike to the inner edge, 1-1. Ross Peoples not using his bench here. He's got Hoover on the bases, so that takes 1 out. Carpenter and Peroni are the others available. Hoover takes off. The pitch will come to the plate. It's outside for ball 2, and Hoover settles into scoring position. They're just focused on the hitter right now, but this is a situation where the Barnstormers certainly want to get the runner into scoring position. 2-1. Lair swings and fouls it off, and the Barnstormers are down to 1 last strike here. Hoover will be awarded his 10th stolen base. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Trace Lair. The Barnstormers with 1 out left on the road. They've been able to win these games. Two balls, 2 strikes to Lair. Looking for a game-tying base hit. Rosk to the set. The breaking ball just missing. And it's 3-2. Jerry Martinez would not give him the outside corner on that pitch. Dunston waiting on deck. I'd be curious to see if Ross goes to maybe Carpenter. (3-2), the count on Lair. He is single to right field, both at bats so far. And I guarantee on another base hit, Ross will not hesitate sending Hoover. 3-2 pitch, he stays alive. Lair doing a nice job spoiling it. Three balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Lancaster had fought back from a 3-0 deficit to tie it at 3 through the middle innings. Fell behind in the 5th. 3-2 to Lair. The pitch, breaking ball, ground ball, right side, takes a wicked hop, and somehow Becker stays with it and feeds Roskup for the final out. Oh, the Barnstormers almost got a break from their own field, and Becker able to react and make the play. The Barnstormers go down both times today, and that 4-0 start to the second half is now 4-2. No runs, no hits, no errors, and one left. The Barnstormers lose the suspended game 8-4, and then in the regularly scheduled game, our final Spire City 4 and the Barnstormers 3. We'll be back to wrap things up here tonight in just a bit. Once again, the Spire City Ghost Hounds serve as a roadblock to the Lancaster Barnstormers. They take both ends today, 8-4 in the suspended game, which they were leading 3-0 at the start of play earlier this afternoon. And then in the regularly scheduled 7-inning game, Spire City with the 4-3 victory. In what we'll refer to as the opener, Spire City 8 runs, 13 hits, no errors, 7 left. 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors, and 6 left for the Barnstormers. Jake Fisher, the winner, 1-1 with Spire City, 1-3 overall. Brett Clark taking a loss for the Barnstormers, 0-5 on the year. Cole Cottom hit his 17th home run of the year back on Sunday before the game was halted by rain, and overall now has 18 on the campaign. He was followed by Jimmy Paredes, who connected, as did Leobaldo Cabrera with his 23rd. And for Paredes, it was home run number 12 on the season. The Barnstormers had a home run late by Wilson Garcia, his 5th long ball of the season. 2 hours, 22 minutes, 1949 was the crowd last Sunday. Tonight, Spire City victorious 4-3, 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 4 left. And for the Barnstormers, 3 runs on just 4 hits with no errors, 3 runners left on base. The win goes to David Kubiak, 5-3 on the year, 7-1 against the Barnstormers in his career. Spencer Johnston with the loss. He falls to 1-2. The save to Zach Roskup, his 7th. You don't see guys come back out twice in the same day very often, but the results were similar. Roskup giving up the 1 walk, but the Barnstormers never had a hit off of him in either one of his efforts today. The lone home run in Game 2, again, it was Wilson Garcia for the Barnstormers, leading off the 4th inning, his 6th home run. That one tied the game at 3 apiece. 1 hour, 53 minutes. The time of the second game, 32-18. The Friday night crowd here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Threatening weather, never hit the ballpark, hit the northern suburbs around Lancaster. They were under a severe thunderstorm warning. You could see it beyond the outfield walls. Again, we only had an occasional sprinkle or two at the stadium. So in this second game, Spire City took a 3-0 lead in the top of the second inning. A walk to Jimmy Paredes and Stephen Brault, who had made a sensational catch against Andretti Cordero in the bottom half of the first inning. Hit a bouncing ball on the right side. Wilson Garcia, it appeared, was going to try to get the double play started, and he reached out. The ball came off his glove, and runners were at first and second with nobody out. Moises Sierra singled in one, and with the throw to the plate, Brault took third, Sierra took second. The infield pulled in, and Scott Kelly got the ball past the shortstop Coca to drive in two more. Spire City led 3-0. The Barnstormers were able to come back and tie with 2 outs in the third. Lair singled into right field. Dunston and Mercedes drew very quick walks. I think it was 8 total pitches from Kubiak. You don't see it that often. And Cordero lined a base hit into left, driving in 2. Then with the runners at second and third, Ariel Sandoval flied out to left, closing out the inning. Garcia tied it with the home run in the fourth. But then in the fifth inning, Leopoldo Cabrera singled into center. And with 2 gone in the inning, Starlin Castro drove in the deciding run with a double off the fence out in right center field. The Barnstormers had the leadoff man on base in both the fifth and the seventh innings, but they could not come up with a key hit behind those leadoff base runners. And as a matter of fact, both times the Barnstormers did not bunt the runner over, but without the base hits, ultimately that did not matter. Lancaster falls by the score of 4-3, and that is now 5-13 in one-run games for the Barnstormers here in 2023. They dropped to 4-2 in the second half, 1-6 on the season against Spire City. Elsewhere in the Atlantic League, I wouldn't expect to see too many finals in. West Virginia leading Southern Maryland 6-3 through 4.5. Staten Island owns a 3-1 lead at Gastonia. They're in the bottom of the sixth. York 6 and Long Island 2 in the seventh. And High Point has surged ahead of Lexington 7-6 with play in the top half of the sixth inning. Major League Baseball is back underway. We'll be trying to bring that scoreboard up here in a moment, and guess what? It's failing to load. Here we go. San Diego up 6-1 against the Phillies. Play is in the top of the eighth inning. San Francisco and Pittsburgh tied 2 apiece. They're in the bottom of the fifth. Miami and Baltimore have just gotten started. They did have a rain delay. They're in the bottom of the first with no score. Toronto owns a 2-1 lead at home against Arizona in the top of the fifth. At the end of 4, the Dodgers and the Mets are scoreless. Milwaukee and Cincinnati likewise scoreless. They're in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Atlanta 4 and the White Sox nothing in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Boston over the Cubs 2-0 in the second. Cleveland and the Rangers no score after 1. Washington at the Cardinals just getting started. They are scoreless in the bottom of the first. Yankees and Colorado coming up next. Tampa Bay and Kansas City rained out, and the late games, Houston at the Angels, Minnesota at Oakland, and Detroit is at Seattle. Barnstormers dropped 2 on this Friday the 14th, 8-4 earlier as we completed a suspended game, 4-3 in the regularly scheduled game here tonight. Barnstormers and Spire City Ghost Hounds will go back at it tomorrow night here at 6:30. Dominic DeSabatino scheduled to go for Lancaster. He is 3-5 on the campaign. And we may see, this is not officially declared yet, but it is possible, Matt Reitz will be making the start against the Barnstormers. He just started for Lancaster at Southern Maryland and pitched very well and won game 1 of that make-up doubleheader back on Monday. So we'll have to wait to be certain on that. They are going to sign Reitz, and the expectation is that he will start game 2, but without him being officially signed, they can't make that announcement as of yet. 4-3, Spire City wins the regular game. We'll talk to you tomorrow night from here at Clipper Magazine Stadium. Until then, For video producer Ryan Cortazzo and all the cast and crew at Clipper Magazine Stadium, as well as our techs at FloBaseball and our presenting sponsor, Gockenauer Appliances of East Petersburg. I'm Dave Collins. Have a great evening, everyone, and tomorrow night, fireworks will follow. We'll see you at the ballpark.